We are quickly learning the full scope of what William Barr, as Donald Trump's attorney general, is expected to be doing by Donald Trump and his cronies. William Barr is expected and did propagandize Donald Trump's alleged innocence in the Russia scandal. William Barr is expected to interfere with anything that might lead to Donald Trump's taxes being provided to anybody, even state investigators. And most recently, William Barr was expected and implored by Donald Trump to hold a bogus propaganda press conference during which Barr would come out and say Donald Trump did nothing wrong in the Ukraine-Joe Biden phone call fiasco. The Washington Post has a really well-sourced article by three of their top reporters, and they can now report that Donald Trump wanted his Attorney General William Barr to hold a news conference. And in that news conference, William Barr was expected to say Donald Trump didn't break any laws during the Ukraine phone call or in anything related to that fiasco. This happened right around the time when the Ukraine phone call news went public and Donald Trump put out that completely bogus partial transcript. And Barr ultimately refused to do it. Shocking, actually. And reportedly, Trump and Barr are still on good terms, despite Barr's refusal. Now, you might remember that at the time, a Justice Department spokeswoman said, we looked generally at whether any campaign finance laws were likely broken by the phone call. We don't think any further action is warranted. But clearly, that is not what Donald Trump wanted. And clearly, what Donald Trump wanted in William Barr going out and making this declaration about Trump's vindication exceeded the scope of what William Barr would really be in a position to do. For a guy in Trump who has been complaining about no due process, suggesting that an attorney general make an exonerating legal statement, a positive exonerating legal statement about a matter which he has not actually investigated and which has not actually come before the Justice Department in any formal way, that's not the legal process we have in this country. But of course, following the right processes only matters if it's a process that's convenient to Donald Trump, that Donald Trump likes. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It's whatever Trump wants. Now, the bigger question here is actually whether William Barr was involved in some way in the Ukraine fiasco, because I want to be really clear here. In this latest story, the question is, why did Barr refuse to do what Trump asked? And isn't Barr a great guy for refusing to do it? But one of the things that William Barr was quick to do from the time that the Ukraine story broke was to immediately distance himself from any involvement in it. And it's not clear that William Barr wasn't involved, because remember, in the phone call with the Ukrainian President Zelensky, at least in the parts that Trump released in the bogus partial transcript, Trump refers to, I'm going to have William Barr get in touch with Ukrainian prosecutors to look into Hillary's emails and to look into Joe Biden. As far as Trump is saying in the call, William Barr was involved or was soon going to be involved. Now, of course, the Justice Department is maintaining that the first time Barr ever heard about any of this was when the partial transcript was released. But does anybody believe that? Does anybody think that that is the most likely scenario? There are reports that Barr was regularly pulled into things like this before, including one instance where Donald Trump spoke on the phone with the Australian Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, and Trump told Morrison, hey, can you help my Attorney General William Barr gather information to help us investigate Robert Mueller, if you can imagine. There's a report of William Barr meeting with Italian officials about other investigations meant to be favorable to Donald Trump. There are reports that William Barr was in touch with British intelligence officials under strange circumstances and for opaque purposes. So every indication here is that William Barr is just as dirty as Trump in this entire thing. So allowing William Barr to come away as the ethical one because he didn't go out there and say the president broke no laws, something which would have been a stretch even for William Barr to do about something which he had not investigated. We can skip that altogether, and let's keep the focus on the important issue that is at hand here, which is it seems like William Barr is involved in all of this Trumpian nonsense. He may be part of the problem, and if so, if this actually becomes a matter for the Justice Department, William Barr needs to recuse himself. There are actually already calls from legal scholars saying anything even remotely associated with Donald Trump and Ukraine and Biden, corruption, whatever the case may be, if it's even remotely associated with that, William Barr cannot oversee it. He needs to recuse himself because he appears to be just as involved as Rudy Giuliani, call him what you will, and a lot of these other people that have been slowly but surely pulled into it. Of course, they're not going to do it. Donald Trump has already made clear that when attorneys general recuse themselves from things that involve Trump, they end up losing their jobs, as Jeff Sessions is proof of. By the way, Jeff Sessions is running for Senate again. We will talk about that on the bonus show. But for now, we will take a quick break. Make sure to give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/David Pakman Show. And follow me on TikTok. What are we doing on TikTok? I don't know, but we're on there at David Pakman Show on TikTok.